Protesters converged on the Federal Building in Los Angeles September 12 to voice their opposition to what they feel is a culture of corruption and misrepresentation by politicians. The event, known as 9/12 West, was formed in conjunction with the larger 9/12 gathering held in Washington, D.C. on the same day. 9/12 West gatherings were also held in Sacramento and San Juan Capistrano. Some passing motorists honked their horns in support of the protesters. The event, almost 5,000 strong, featured booths full of t-shirts and other items for sale, with proceeds funding the event. The crowd was full of regular people spanning multiple ethnicities and generations. Some political hopefuls were also in attendance, including California Senate candidate John Stamreich, who is running in the 28th District. Stamreich commented on the lack of media coverage these events have generated.
Do you think that this movement is hurt by the fact that a lot of media outlets, newspaper, broadcasting cable, are not really covering this?
It depends. I mean, it's a testament to how many people are here, despite the fact that they haven't had that kind of press, that kind of release, that kind of announcement. So this is really a message that there is an underground media. There's an opportunity with, especially with, even groups like yours, whatever, to get the word out. You don't need the media now, the mass media, the standard 247 channels to get the word out. I mean, imagine if they had put the word out. We probably would exceed our permit.
Tony Katz and Megan Barth began organizing the event about 2 months ago. Barth felt a great need to have a Tea Party event on the West Coast because, well, there weren't many going on here. Described by Katz as a carnival-like atmosphere and a success, this event featured a collection of guest speakers, including storied actor Basil Hoffman and Stephen Vincent, creator of the End the Fed movement. The movement seeks to dissolve the Federal Reserve System, which many, including Vincent, feel is destroying American currency.
I got started in this movement because, I sensed that there was really something profoundly wrong with our country and with our system. Until one day, I discovered what is at the root of all the social, political, and economic ills that befall our country. It's the Federal Reserve Bank and our monetary system. That is at the root of it all.
Also speaking was former Saturday Night Live star Victoria Jackson, who made waves during the last presidential election by calling President Barack Obama a communist.
My whole life I took freedom for granted because I was born here and I just knew that I could go to church and worship God. I could read the Bible whenever I want and not be ashamed or afraid I'm going to get killed. This is the next thing that the Congress and Obama are going to attack. They're going to try to take away our freedom to worship, conservative radio and Christian radio. So that's one reason I'm on fire with passion, even though I'm a beginner and I don't really know how to do this.
What was the final tipping point for you personally that made you more active politically?
Reverend Wright. Reverend Wright was appalling to me, and the fact that everyone just accepted Obama's position on that relationship, and it just seemed to snowball after that. And I read his books. I wanted to believe. I did, but everything I found looked sketchy to me. So that was the tipping point. That's when it started. And it was early on, and it just seems like it's gone downhill.
Were you politically active before the whole Tea Party movement began?
For quite a few years now, since 1986.
And I know a lot of people like to say that the people who take part in the Tea Parties are right-wingers, and who are people like Janine Garofalo saying that they're all racist because they hate Obama. But here you are, an African-American, a regular citizen who just doesn't like what's happening in Washington and in the state capitol.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that our country is being turned upside down. In other words, we were founded as a constitutional republic, and we have been just diminishing that idea and moving further and further away from those principles of our Declaration of Independence, which apply to all men equally. And that is not the policy of our present president. His policy don't reflect that type of idea. So I'm against his policies for that reason.
Now I know with cable news channels like Fox News exposing a lot of the czars, Van Jones, who was a self-proclaimed communist and an anarchist.
Right.
Now all the stuff is coming out about all of Obama's friends and allies who are very, very shady people. Do you think that the American people are finally starting to come around to the fact that maybe Obama is not the person who he said he was at the very beginning?
I think that there is a tremendous amount of buyer's remorse in America, and I think that the question of discussing it as Fox News exposing, the real question is news is news. Why isn't ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, and MSNBC having these conversations? Why did Van Jones not get coverage on those networks, or extremely limited coverage on those networks? Why? Isn't it a news story? It's a news story when someone has a scandal. It's a news story when a man is shown to admit that he is a communist and he resigns in the middle of a Labor Day weekend. It is a news story. Why didn't they cover it? It's one of the great mysteries.
This is Aaron Castrahone for the Poly Post.